Futures trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Content provided in this segment is meant for educational purposes and is not a solicitation to buy or sell commodities.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk. For reference, today is the very first day of February 2023 on a Wednesday. Happy February, Andy.
Happy February. Are you? What are you doing for Valentine's Day? It's coming up. It's right around the corner.
I got no plans right now.
You got no plans? Who's going to be your Valentine?
I guess we'll have to figure that out.
Not me.
Not us.
That's like that time when I asked you what your favorite pie was, and you said I think pumpkin, and then you didn't ask me what my favorite pie was.
Who is your Valentine? I'm sorry, very disrespectful. Who is your Valentine this year?
I don't know. It was going to be you, but not anymore. Whatever. Fine. It's fine. Yo.
Oh gosh.
Whatever.
All right. Well,
I guess we can look at some charts.
I guess we can look at some, just like Valentine's Day, a little red holiday. We got some red charts coming in.
Red charts.
Good night.
Red hot. Should we look at cheese first? Speaking of
Look
red.
at cheese.
So it's been a little red here lately, but this is a weekly. It was so back and forth for a while, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you just had these gaps that were just out of control. And then you filled a good chunk of them with this candle right here. And then you followed through here. And you've kind of got this potential inside day down taking shape. So this was, let me just hold this here. So inside the full body of this candle is inside this one, right? Again, this is a weekly. So this is last week, this is previous week. And then you open lower below last week's close. And so it's kind of like adding a little bit of fuel to the fire, so to speak. And I think it is leading to the potential for this chart to try and go trade this like $1.60 area.
I think that's what we had circled last time, right? We had talked about $1.60, $55 type range.
Yeah, and you think about it like this. So this long-term trend was broken and then confirmed the breakout right here, right? So this and then this. So I think we have to be really mindful of the last time this trend line it touched down there, right? Mm-hmm. So this is $1.55. I have a hard time seeing us get down there. I definitely don't see us getting down there in the NAS, right? And go learn more about that. Joe Schmidt, Bases Loaded. You're welcome, Joe. Joe's bald just like you, by the way.
There you go.
Do you watch Bases Loaded?
I do. I watch it every week. I learn actually a lot from Joe. He does a very good job with explaining the NDPSR and what's happening there.
All that stuff. Yeah.
So everybody go take a look. And it's actually going to help with what Andy and I talk about compared to what Joe talks about. They do intertwine a little bit.
They do. And you guys are both bald. So
there you
go. So yeah, but anyways, it last time it looks like it wants to go take a stab at least trading down around where it touched this area. So it's called like around $1.60 on average. We're there in the barrel, right? And so it would really, you'd have to weigh on the block. Like again, I don't think it gets into the NDPSR. If it does, I don't think we see a very long, I don't think it trades there for very long, right? We saw, a few weeks ago where it was like the barrel traded down to like 165 and then popped right back to 185 really quickly. I think you could see something similar in the block. Mm-hmm. So that said, so you have this inside candle inside the previous body of the candle, and then open lower. That's definitely a prelude to continued weakness. Mm-hmm. So you've confirmed the breakout of this long-term trend here pretty well.
Okay.
So what do you think? Are we going lower? What are you doing?
I do. I tend to agree with you. The $1.60, maybe $1.55 area. And if I think we had looked at it last time, if you go back into November of 2022, you got that big nasty red candle, and then that's when we really started to project ourselves higher. Well, that's actually at about $1.55 right there.
Yeah,
exactly. Right where you have that the trend line drawn right there is where we really started to go at. I think we go down and test that region right now. I do.
Yeah, these areas where the trend was tested tend to become magnets once it's been broken, right? And so here you're getting a lot of traffic, right? But it feels like this is going to be the next leg lower.
I agree.
We shall see.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what's not legging lower anymore potentially right here.
Hey, spot Nonfat
for you. What do you think here? You get your buying boots on, or what are you doing?
And you haven't changed anything from the last time we had looked at this.
The only thing I added to this, I've added is the Fibonacci right there.
Okay, I was going to say that it's quite the coincidence that we really started bottoming out at 115, where your Fibonacci retracement is at the bottom there.
Oh, come on.
Right. But still, very interesting. I think I'd rather see it settle above that downward trend line that you have drawn. See if we can break out from there at about a 120, 124. Mm-hmm. And then maybe a little bit of a buy signal from there.
So futures are perking up around low 120s up front, right? But this has had such a substantial break. This is what $1.88, $1.90 down to 115. That's massive.
Right.
It's 75 cents.
Yeah.
So to me, it looks like at the very least, it wants to go test this downward trend again. And I think the next step, first of all, in my opinion, I think it breaks through. It certainly feels like, especially with how big of a break it's had, I think like we've seen Nonfat just turn into a face ripper in sometimes, right? I think it does that. And I think what it ends up doing is testing this. So this green line right here, it's the 200 period average. Right? So it's the weekly. So we always think of like 200-day moving average, but it's the periods, right? So I think this is going to be a huge number when this green line right here, and I think it goes and at least tests that number. Whether or not we can break through that, it would be obviously a big technical breakout, right? But I think at the very least, this has the potential to. I don't know if V bottom is the right word, but this is wicked. This is a wicked retracement after today. Yeah. So next step, I think you got to go test this trend, which isn't that far away. So $1.23 to $1.24 futures are already there, and then I think the next piece of it too is, do you start to get kind of like a lead in futures where you get like futures continue building a little bit of a premium, and it develops a little bit of like a carry to where it does encourage buyers on the exchange, because I think you potentially run the risk of running out of new selling here too. So for what it's worth. But yeah, this looks like you might want to start left clicking a little bit. I don't know. What do you think?
Looks like a...
Did I ever send you that mouse? I was supposed to send you a mouse where it only had the left click button. Like it was like this, but like you ripped out the right click. And for those at home, right clicking is selling. Left clicking is buying.
Right.
So there was a while there.
We tend to be a little bit more bullish, right? Just kind of lean that way. But no, I have not received the mouse just yet.
It's in the mail.
There you go.
It got lost in the mail. So
like
it's there. But so you're buying Nonfat.
Correct.
Here's an oldie but a goodie.
Oh.
Your favorite.
A fave.
What do you want to do? What's the hammer doing?
Oh, man. After today, so looked at it this morning, thought we were starting a little bit of an M formation there in corn.
Mm-hmm.
After today, after that retracement.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, it looks like a buy to me.
You're buying it?
I'm buying it.
All right.
I think I'd be a rebuyer of corn.
You got the hammer out? Is the hammer
here? We got the hammer back.
There it is, right there.
March corn looks like a buy. Absolutely.
Spoken for. That's
but
it.
Starting the morning now, when we had quite the retracement there, we went down and kind of tested the lows that we saw on last week of January. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, if we break through here, maybe that's when we really start heading back down to that 650 type number. And then towards the close today, or the settle, we just really took this thing and elevated it from about 5 lower to 1.25 higher. Yeah. Quite the turnaround.
This is starting to look like an ascending triangle.
Yes.
So for those at home, ascending triangle is basically you have kind of like one horizontal resistance, in this case, call it like around 680. And then you break, try to test it, break again. But this time you get lower high. People are willing to own it. Or excuse me, higher low. Sorry, my mistake. Higher low. People are willing to own it a little bit more expensively, I guess, if that's even a word. Is that a word? Expensively?
It is now.
It is today. So anyways, but yeah, and you keep bumping up against this, but you continue to fail to put in a new low or even test like the previous low. Mm-hmm. That's typically a sign of launch pads getting ready to be activated.
Well, that's kind of what stood out to me is that the past 1, 2, 3, 4 trading sessions, that's the best that the bears could do. They would get it, pushed down a little bit below 680, and the bulls would come in and run it a little bit higher. Today, you had a little bit more of a price action move, but still the bulls took over in the back half of the game here and brought it back higher than unchanged.
Yeah, and what's interesting about this close today too is you took a shot at getting below the 200-day moving average.
Right.
That's the green line.
Yep.
And then during the same session, you tested the 20-day moving average, and
couldn't do it.
You couldn't get below either of them.
Yep.
Not at least like intraday you could. And it doesn't even look like the 20-day was touched. Sorry, it was super close. But the 200-day though, I think is really interesting. Right? You would have closed below the 200-day. I think you would have we would be looking at a much different chart.
Correct.
And having a different opinion about this. But the fact that you were able to punch through that and then right back up in this ascending triangle, I agree with the hammer.
Now, I will say that a settle above 685 is going to be a very good telling tale because we just have not. We've traded above there, but settling above there has been a no-go. Unless you go back into Nove of last year.
All right, hang on. So 685, trying to get it right there. Bam, got it.
Yep.
All right, so no-go. So let's say we get a 687 settle. What do you like? Is it just Launchpad activated? Just like
I think it's got to be. I really think it has to be. And then that's when we really talked about, okay, 710 looks like could be the next testing point after that.
Yeah. That's
right? Where
I mean, right there. That's so it's just like what was the chart we were just looking at?
Right.
Cheese, where it tested, where we broke out from. Those become points where you kind of gravitate to.
For sure.
So Hammer of Truth, buying March corn, great settle today.
Great settle.
Wednesday the 1st, new Feb, new month, new you. All right, last one. Yikes.
I don't know if I've ever looked at this one before.
If we have, it's been a long time.
Okay.
This doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good. And actually, if you go to a monthly, it tends to look even worse, in my opinion. Yeah.
You go to a monthly, it looks worse.
So looking at this one, tell me if I'm wrong. Dropping below 150 looks like, I mean, we're kind of heading towards the lows here, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like.
I mean, this looks like the area. I mean, you can handicap a little bit and kind of go to like $1.60.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, this monthly looks like that's what it wants to go to test that area. Right. I mean, the daily, there's nothing good about that chart.
No.
Right. You've had a pretty steady downtrend. You haven't had like these, it's hard to maintain a trend when you have like candles like this. Right. That's unsustainable price action to continue at that rate. But when you see a trend move like this is sustainable price action, right? And so this close right here, that's new lows. You've got this big. If you've been trying to buy it this whole time, it's every day. It's just punching in the face. So it's
right. You keep creating these new lows.
Yeah. So it does look like 160s in the cards. The weekly is probably not going to be much better. Yeah. Yeah. There's that point right there that we were just talking about.
Yep.
So you want to do you're buying corn, selling gas.
I think that would be the way that my mind would roll right now.
All right.
That gas could be short-lived, right? Until you get to that 150, 160 type mark, but still from here.
I've heard that market's a widowmaker.
Look at that. It definitely looks like it.
We're getting out of winter, too. People aren't going to be heating their homes as much.
Except
by you. It's supposed to get isn't it supposed to get super cold this weekend? Like north?
Yeah, we got, right now it's actually 4 degrees. Wind chill feels like -8.
-8.
-8. Welcome to Michigan.
Welcome to Michigan in the winter.
It's not for the faint of heart, folks.
Not for the faint of heart. I know it's Valentine's Day, but it's going to be a chilly one.
It's true.
Get a cuddle up.
There you go. All right, everybody. We appreciate you joining us on Tech Talk for the 1st of February. If you have not already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can see Andy, myself, Joe, all give our semi-professional opinions on different things happening in the market. And if you would, give us a huge thumbs up. We really appreciate it. Until next time, you guys have a great week. We'll see you soon.